She is the most famous Yandere heiress in school and the ultimate villain of the story.
Her possessiveness is literally insane. Touch anything of hers and you are completely doomed.
To pay for the surgery of his mother, Jiang Zhe takes a tutoring job making $10,000 a month. His mission is simple. Get this wild girl into a decent college. Keep her away from the lead, get paid, and run.
He keeps a strict, ice-cold poker face during every single lesson.
He figured she would get annoyed and fire him, but graduation changed everything.
Instead, she locks him inside her massive villa, flashing a sweet but totally unhinged smile.
She whispers that since he came to see her every day, he must love her.
She begs him never to leave, promising to take care of him forever. All right, let us rewind. The agency broker, Old Wang, holds up a finger, offering $10,000.
$10,000? Jiang Zhe almost thought the guy was just joking around with him.
He pushes up his glasses, telling Brother Wang to stop pulling his leg. His voice cracks. His mother needs $400,000 for surgery, and time is running out.
Old Wang shoves his finger right in the face of Jiang Zhe, proving he is dead serious. He lowers his voice, leaning in to whisper the name of Jiang Zhe. He asks if he wants the job. They will prepay $400,000 in full.
It is the exact amount for the surgery, but he has to tutor a high school senior girl. Just until the exams end. Jiang Zhe feels his mind go blank. This is an absolute jackpot.
A giant $400,000 jackpot just fell right into his lap, out of nowhere.
But his survival instinct quickly kicks in, making him wonder what kind of student actually commands such an insane price tag. Old Wang looks a bit uncomfortable, pulling his hand back to take a slow sip of tea.
Then he slowly drops the name, Su Ying. Jiang Zhe immediately feels his stomach drop.
His heart sinks completely. Honestly, the name Su Ying does not just terrify their school. It is a total nightmare for literally every single high school kid in the entire city. She is a forbidden entity and the only daughter of the wealthiest tycoon in the city. She has the face of a literal angel, but her academic grades are so terrible even demons would shake their heads. But here is the thing, she is not just rich, she is a complete lunatic. She is a yandere with off-the-charts possessiveness, like once a boy tried to give her a love letter.
The very next morning, the school bag of that poor kid and all his books, along with the hair of the poor girl he actually had a crush on, were shredded to pieces with scissors. Then some clueless rich kid tried to hit on her, flexing his massive family wealth. He showered her with flowers and gifts daily, but within a single week, his family business got absolutely shattered by the massive corporate power of the Su family. Their stocks crashed and they nearly went completely bankrupt. As a transmigrator who got stuck in this world, Jiang Zhe knows her terrifying nature better than anyone.
In the school novel he read before transmigrating, Su Ying is the ultimate villainess of the story. She becomes obsessively infatuated with the cheerful, sunny male lead of this world, Lin Fan. And she will use every underhanded method possible to destroy her rivals. She ruthlessly targets every girl who gets near him, until the main couple finally teams up to stop her. In the end, her entire family is ruined. But what about Jiang Zhe? He is just a nameless background character who was never even mentioned in the novel. Now he is actually supposed to tutor this literal female devil? That is basically a massive death wish. He is ready to decline right then and there, but Old Wang slides over a contract. That $400,000 figure practically blinds him while his mother is hospitalized. The image of the exhausted, bloodshot eyes of his mom instantly flashes before him. Talk about a total death trap. Either way, he is done. Screw it, he says, his voice so chill it is like he is talking about someone else. No risk, no reward. It is time to risk it all. For his mom, tutoring a yandere is nothing. He would literally go to hell and teach math to the devil himself. So he quickly plans his survival. Rule 1, keep physical distance. Rule 2, keep mental distance. Rule 1, keep physical distance. Rule 2, keep mental distance. Act like an emotionless teaching robot. Rule 3, stay task-oriented. He needs to raise her grades as fast as possible to let her get into a college miles away from the main character, Lin Fan. If she never meets the male lead, the rest of the plot is none of his business. Once exams end, he will grab the cash and run. Ghosting everyone, he signs the contract. Pressing his thumbprint down, he watches $400,000 land in his account. The weight on his chest finally lifts, but a terrible bad feeling instantly replaces it. That cash is low-key cursed, bro. Next day, he heads to the address. He stands before a massive European-style castle. 2 bodyguards stand there like absolute boss monsters. They scan him up and down with deadly stares, checking if he is casually carrying weapons of mass destruction under his shirt. He hands over the contract, completely blank-faced. Honestly, this security detail makes him feel less like a tutor and more like a prisoner. Soon, the butler leads him inside. They walk through a ridiculously massive front yard. Inside, the decor screams rich, like filthy rich, with zero idea how to spend it. They basically copied the Louvre. He is internally screaming at this point. He stays stone-faced, just a machine. Vulgar money cannot corrupt him. The butler leads him to a second-floor bedroom.
Knocking on the door, the butler calls out, "Miss, your tutor is here."
Knocking on the door, the butler calls out, "Miss, your tutor is here." "Bait it!" The butler looks embarrassed and mouths a quick apology. He nods, totally understanding. He read the novel. She is literally the speedrun champion of firing her tutors in under 3 minutes. Taking a deep breath, he pushes open the door to a massive room. The whole place is painted soft princess pink, completely opposite to her devilish personality. The contrast is crazy. Right there, Su Ying is chilling on the bed. She is wearing a silk nightgown with her blindingly white legs casually crossed, reading a manga and ignoring everything. She does not even look up, muttering, "I told you to tell him to beat it." "Are you deaf?" Ignoring her completely, he walks straight to the desk. He drops his bag and pulls out his lesson plans and math worksheets. "Miss Su, I am Jiang Zhe, your math tutor for the next 3 months." His voice is completely deadpan, adding, "according to the contract." If her attitude ruins the lessons, Jiang tells her straight up. He is still keeping the $400,000 her dad prepaid. And get this, he will report everything to her dad. That finally gets a reaction from the girl on the bed. She slowly sits up, letting her comic book slide right off her lap. Jiang finally gets a clear look at her face. Honestly, she is stunning, but in a dangerous, sharp way. Her eyes curve upward, oozing this natural vibe of arrogance and cold detachment. Yet her soft, rosy lips give off this low-key, innocent, teasing vibe. She steps barefoot onto the soft carpet, slowly walking right up to him. A faint scent fills the air, making Jiang instinctively take half a step back. His back hits the cold desk as she corners him, asking if he is scared. She tilts her head, studying Jiang with pure, wicked curiosity. For a girl, she is pretty tall, standing just half a head shorter than Jiang. The tension at this distance is insane, but Jiang just calmly adjusts his glasses. His eyes do not flinch for a second as he reminds her he is only here for math. For him, taking money to do a job has absolutely nothing to do with being scared of her. They either blushed or got scared away, but now she reaches out to poke him in the chest. But our boy immediately sidesteps to dodge her, creating some much-needed distance between them. He calmly tells Miss Su to behave herself, casually picking up a test paper from the desk. "This is your last mock exam. Out of 150 points, you scored a 32. You picked option C for every single multiple-choice question, so you actually got pretty lucky." His tone is completely deadpan, like he is just reading a boring old report. Su Lin's smug smile instantly freezes. She has probably never in her life met a guy like him. He is completely immune to her charms, and he just continues to utterly ignore her. Instead, he goes on to lay down a strict study plan, setting tutoring hours from 7 to 10 every single night. During this block of time, he warns her that things are about to change. Her phone, her computer, and even her beloved manga books. All of it will be confiscated if it is not study-related. Then he pauses for a second. Looking straight into her gradually narrowing eyes, he casually adds one final crucial rule just to make absolutely sure that their sessions stay highly productive. He requires them to maintain a strict safe distance of at least 1 meter apart at all times.
On top of that, unnecessary physical contact and personal questions are completely banned. Talk about an absolute boss move.
Who do you think you are to order me around? She asks, her voice turning completely ice cold. The spoiled heiress's temper is finally flaring up, but he just tells her, "Your dad paid me $400,000. He stares back at her with a calm look, reminding her that he has actual professional ethics to uphold. The room goes incredibly silent, to the point where he can actually hear her soft, shallow breathing. At this point, he half expects her to blow up and call her bodyguards to throw him out. But then, a few seconds later, she suddenly smiles, and honestly, this plot twist hits different. Like a viper flicking its tongue, she licks her lips, finding this way too amusing. Her eyes glow with a wild, predatory look as she casually agrees to his terms. She drags out the word teacher with pure mockery, sending massive red flags straight to Jiang's head. Honestly, this is not how normal romance stories go, and his bad feeling is spot on. This absolute menace, Su Ying, has zero good intentions, even if she pretends to accept his rules. Instead, she is actively trying to push every single one of his boundaries just to test him. On day one, she opens the door wearing a super revealing silk dress. Talk about a distraction, but our boy Jiang keeps his eyes locked straight ahead, completely unfazed. Instead, he just slams a massive 5-year college entrance exam prep book right in front of her. He tells Miss Su they are starting on functions today. But she is clearly trying to use her insane looks to break our stone-cold tutor. Too bad for her, his mind is fully occupied by how she brutally chops people up. Talk about a massive mood killer, no amount of flirting will work on him. Honestly, in his eyes, she is basically just a walking skeleton holding a dagger. The next day, she switches tactics while he is busy explaining a math problem. Instead of looking at the board, her gorgeous eyes stare straight at him. Teacher Jiang, you are so good-looking, literally handsomer than the school heartthrob. He does not even look up, just says thanks and asks if she understands the math. She asks if he has a girlfriend, and he just coldly replies, "No, next question." She keeps pushing, asking what his type is, which finally makes him stop writing. Looking up with a completely blank stare, he pushes up his glasses to face her. He reminds her that their signed contract strictly forbids asking any personal questions. If she keeps wasting time, he has no problem extending daily tutoring until 11 p.m. That instantly shuts her up, and she deflates right there like a popped balloon. He secretly laughs inside. There is no way she can beat a professional villain expert. This guy has got a literal iron wall defense, totally convinced he is won. At this point, he thinks she is out of options, until day 3 rolls around. He is explaining a super complex geometry equation when things suddenly take a wild turn. Suddenly, he hears her gasp in pain, making him turn around immediately. She is clutching her hand tightly, her beautiful face twisted in pure agony. A freshly brewed cup of hot coffee is spilled everywhere, pouring across the desk. The back of her hand is already painfully red, and his heart instantly skips a beat. Oh man, here it is, the classic self-harm trap from the original novel. She uses this exact painful trick to test if men are secretly falling for her. If a guy gets overly worried and starts hovering, she immediately marks him. He becomes a disposable simp she can play with, and trust me, they always end up ruined. Meanwhile, the original protagonist, Lin Fan, only caught her eye by calmly treating her burn while maintaining a safe, calculated distance. But since our tutor wants to survive, rushing in like a total simp is out of the question. At the same time, copying the hero and pulling her focus is way too risky. His main goal is to be a total ghost, completely invisible to her. In a split second, 18 different escape plans flash through his mind, but he chooses the coldest one. He goes with the safest, most robotic option possible and speed dials her butler. Then, with a voice completely devoid of human emotion, he just recites instructions out loud. He quotes the first aid manual. For minor burns, immediately use running cold water. Flush the area for at least 20 minutes to reduce swelling and relieve the pain. Absolutely do not apply toothpaste or soy sauce under any circumstances. Doing so risks infection, and please avoid popping any blisters yourself. Seeking medical attention is highly recommended. And with that, he hangs up the phone. Pointing to the door, he tells her the butler is coming to help her out.
He even suggests she use this break to rethink the geometry problem. Then he literally turns right back around to solve equations on a scratch paper. Honestly, he acts like her getting burned was just some minor, irrelevant distraction. The room goes dead silent, but he can feel her intense gaze piercing like two X-ray beams. Her intense glare was about to pierce right through his back. He knew he completely messed up.
Jiang wondered if he acted too cold-blooded and if this crazy girl was about to completely snap.
Like, is she gonna have him dragged out and buried alive? His mind was in absolute chaos. Cold sweat was literally dripping from his palms, but he forced himself to keep that same stone-faced look. He tried to maintain his signature poker face. Just when Jiang thought his entire life was completely over, a sudden scoff echoed from right behind him, followed by her incredibly playful, teasing voice. She said, "Teacher Jiang, you are seriously interesting." He froze. Interesting? What kind of wild plot twist is this? He slowly turned his head completely stiff. He locked eyes with her sparkling gaze, and there was absolutely zero anger in them. No disgust either. Instead, she looked at him with this insanely deep, intense curiosity. She stared right at him, her lips curling up into a very mysterious, smirk-like smile. She joked that it was her first time seeing someone show care by reciting a first aid manual. Alarm bells immediately started ringing in his head. Look, sis, that definitely was not care. That was pure self-preservation. He opened his mouth, desperately wanting to explain things. But he quickly swallowed his words. Why bother explaining things to a total yandere? It was completely pointless, since trying to clarify would only make him look worse. So he chose pure silence. But honestly, guys, ever since that crazy burn incident, things changed. Su Ying's attitude toward him did a massive 180 turn, and she completely stopped using those cheap, petty mind games to test his patience. Instead, she became super cooperative and actually started doing all of his assigned homework on time. She actually paid close attention to every lesson, and get this, she even poured him a glass of water once. Of course, he did not dare to drink it. Heaven knows what that she-devil had planned. He suspected she might have slipped some weird stuff inside, but surprisingly, her grades were about to change. Thanks to his high-pressure tutoring and her suddenly activated intellect, her scores began to rise. They skyrocketed like crazy, and soon everything seemed to be going perfectly. Everything was going exactly as he had planned, and he honestly felt like his future was set. Finishing college exams, taking the cash, and marrying a rich beauty to reach the peak of life was just around the corner. Until that fateful day when the spoiled young lady Su Ying suddenly had a wild idea. She announced she didn't want to study at home, claiming she wanted to go out and experience normal life. He couldn't win the argument, so he was forced to give in. He took her to a cafe near school, swearing this was the biggest mistake of his life. The place was actually pretty quiet, which seemed absolutely perfect for studying. He quickly circled a few key topics and told her to practice them first. Meanwhile, he leaned back in his chair to finally get some rest. He sat there quietly, planning his mother's recovery steps once she got discharged from the hospital. Just then, a highly cheerful and energetic voice rang out near them. It sounded like a wholesome, pure protagonist had approached their table. He politely served their coffee, prompting Jiang to quickly open his eyes. A highly handsome, youthful face instantly appeared right in front of him. Those familiar facial features, along with that iconic, incredibly pure, healing smile. Jiang's brain went completely blank, and he almost slipped right off his chair. It was Lin Fan, the original novel's actual male lead. Why on earth was he here? He remembered that the male lead had a pretty poor family background. He indeed worked part-time, but the novel never mentioned it was this exact cafe. While our tutor was still completely frozen in shock, Lin Fan already stepped up. He started flexing his literal main character cheat code as he placed the coffee down on their table. A sudden slip of the hand and a few drops of coffee splash out, landing right on Su Ying's notebook, the one teacher Jiang spent forever working on. Lin Fan completely loses his mind in panic, desperately grabbing napkins to clean the mess.
Our main girl Jiang watches in absolute horror as Lin Fan's hand gets closer to Su Ying.
Talk about a heart attack. Everything is ruined if they trigger the original novel plot. This clumsy spill is supposed to be the fateful first meeting of our two main leads. Once Lin Fan catches Su Ying's eye, her crazy Yandere hunting mode will fully activate. She will treat literally every single female around Lin Fan as a mortal enemy. Zhang's 400,000 reward, her mother's life-saving surgery? Her entire survival plan is about to get completely obliterated in a second. Just a split second before Lin Fan can touch the notebook, she lunges and grabs his wrist.
No need. Her voice drops, sounding colder than a block of deep-frozen meat.
Lin Fan is totally startled, staring back at her in complete confusion. Meanwhile, Su Ying looks up, watching this sudden drama unfold with pure amusement. Jiang is screaming internally, cursing Lin Fan 800 times over for being a terrible teammate.
Seriously, out of all the possible moments, he chose right now to cause trouble?
Forcing down her inner panic, she looks at Lin Fan with a totally blank face. "We will handle the book ourselves," she says. "Go back to your work." She grabs some tissues and carefully dabs the spilled coffee off the notebook pages. Then she cleanly tears out the ruined sheets with absolute precision. Sliding the book back to Su Ying, she promises to replace those lost pages. "I will rewrite these math problems for you later," she says, standing up. Suddenly, she grabs Su Ying's wrist, claiming the cafe is far too noisy. She drags Su Ying away without looking back, leaving Lin Fan standing there completely dazed. Only after they get clear of the cafe does she finally let go. Letting out a massive sigh of relief, she realizes she survived, for now. But before she can even celebrate, Su Ying's teasing voice echoes right beside her.
Teacher Jiang, Su Ying purrs, looking at her with a knowing, playful smile.
There is a strange, intense look glittering deep inside those beautiful eyes. Were you jealous just now? Like, are you actually kidding me right now?
This wasn't jealousy, this was basic survival instincts kicking in.
Su Ying's face literally screams, "Just admit it, you are totally obsessed with me." Her brain works on overdrive. She has to destroy this dangerous delusion immediately. Nipping it in the bud, she channels her inner strict teacher, looking incredibly stern.
In a cold voice, she tells Su Ying to get a grip on reality.
That clumsy waiter ruined the study guide she put her heart and soul into. Getting angry is totally justified. Second, Su Ying's only goal right now is studying, not staring at a random waiter. And third, which is the most important part, Su Ying's time is extremely valuable, and her own time is just as precious. She refuses to waste another second of their lives on completely irrelevant people. Honestly, she sounds so professional that she almost ends up believing herself. But Su Ying is not buying this act. That smug smile only grows wider. Suddenly, Su Ying leans in close to her ear, whispering in a soft, gentle voice. "Teacher," the warm breath tickles her neck. "You are so cute when you lie." "You're just terrified I will look at someone else, aren't you?" Jiang completely freezes. Seriously, what is this girl's brain even made of? Every single thing Jiang Zhe does to save himself somehow turns into proof that he's head over heels. The story is completely off the rails after that absolute nightmare at the coffee shop. He needs to speedrun his escape. Our guy bumps up their daily tutoring sessions from 3 to 4 hours. The difficulty goes from standard college entry level straight to extreme math Olympiad competition level. He is trying to completely drain Su Ying's yandere energy with endless homework. But he completely underestimated her. Maybe love really does make people study harder, because her brain goes into overdrive. Instead of breaking under his high-pressure tactics, her academic scores just skyrocket. And then, boom! She starts showering him with gifts, and we are talking absolute top-tier luxury. On day 1, she drops a Patek Philippe watch. Jiang Zhe checks the price online and finds so many zeros he literally loses count. He returns it immediately, saying it's inappropriate for a tutor to accept this. She just smiles, asking why. In her mind, it's perfect and would look amazing on his wrist. He pushes the watch box away and says his phone tells the time just fine. She just blinks. The next day, the butler shows up with a custom-tailored suit. It has everything from shirts to custom cufflinks with top-tier fabric. He hands it right back. His excuse is he prefers his school uniform, but on day 3, she drops a black card. She casually tells him the password is his birthday and he should just go wild. Looking at that thin, black card, he feels like he is holding a literal burning hot potato. Honestly, he doesn't even have time to wonder how she got his personal info. He pushes the black card right back, looking more serious than ever. Our boy refuses to sell out.
He's only tutoring her to earn enough money for his mom's medical bills.
Their dynamic is strictly professional, and she needs to stop using money to insult his pride. Seriously, our boy sounded incredibly cool right there.
He basically gives her the ultimate speech about having self-respect.
Jiang Zhe figured this harsh reality check would finally snap her out of it.
She won't take this well. He hopes she fires him in a rage so he can walk away with 400,000. Now that is actually crazy. This girl is built completely different. Her eyes start tearing up. She stares at him with this look of absolute adoration and deep sympathy.
Mixed with some crazy obsession, she calls out his full name, Jiang Zhe.
With her voice trembling, she says she always knew deep down that he was different from the rest.
She thinks he's rejecting her gifts not out of dislike, but because of something else. Taking a deep breath, she asks if what he really wants is actually her heart.
His jaw literally drops.
Like, seriously, does this girl have a major reading comprehension issue? He never even implied that, but she's just standing there looking like she figured it all out.
Jiang Zhe is literally screaming inside, but then Su Ying suddenly grabs his hand.
With eyes so intense, she might as well be making a vow. She promises to stop using cheap tricks. She vows to prove her love through actual actions from now on.
Before he can react, she shoves a warm lunchbox into his hands.
She proudly says she will cook for him every single day. He completely freezes.
He rejected millions only to get a lunchbox. Like, what kind of trait is that? Looking into her eyes, which are overflowing with expectation and deep affection. For the first time, our guy feels pure, unadulterated terror because this girl,
she is entirely lost in her own rom-com delusion.
And Jiang Zhe is just the unlucky victim forced to play her male lead. Survival just got harder.
Su Ying's lunches instantly become his daily routine.
He does not dare to skip a bite. Some suitor criticized her cooking once. She got him expelled, so yeah, Jiang Zhe eats without complaining.
He treats every meal like a life-or-death mission.
Eats with a blank face, says thank you, and stops there. Not a single extra word. But she loves it while he walks on absolute eggshells. He is exhausted, but graduation is his only hope. But of course, the universe refuses to let him slide. One afternoon, he heads to the library to study.
Suddenly, the class beauty Zhou Qianqian blocks his path. She is actually one of the original novel's side characters.
Looking at him with pure disgust, she scoffs. I never thought you would be this pathetic. Jiang Zhe asks what she even means by that.
Throwing away your pride to be Su Ying's lapdog? She speaks loud enough for everyone around to hear.
Mocking him for riding the heiress's coattails.
Everyone starts whispering. Honestly, this secondhand embarrassment is so real. Jiang Zhe feels like a zoo animal.
He is annoyed, realizing this is just a forced novel event. In the original plot, she publicly humiliated someone, only to get caught by Su Ying and destroyed. Now, Jiang Zhe is in the hot seat. He takes a breath, ready to tell her off. But a freezing, terrifying voice cuts in from behind. Who exactly are you calling a lapdog? He turns, and there she is. Crossing her arms, Su Ying looks ready to kill. She is radiating pure final boss energy. An absolute dark queen freezing the entire hallway. The crowd immediately scatters in pure terror. Zhua Qianqian completely freezes, pale as a ghost. Oh boy, is she about to give a live tutorial on how a real villainess operates?
Seeing Zhao Qianqian looking like she was about to burst into tears, Jiang Zhe had only one clear thought.
He had to cut ties with Su Ying immediately because he couldn't let her go wild on his account. Sure, his classmate was a trash talker, but she didn't deserve to get destroyed. More importantly, Jiang Zhe couldn't let Su Ying think he needed her protection, so before she could even make a move, he stepped right in front of Zhou Qianqian and stared straight into Su Ying's eyes. Calling her Student Su to create some serious distance, he told her their relationship was strictly a professional contract and that he would handle his own personal matters without her. He told her not to worry about it, keeping his voice incredibly cold and harsh.
There was absolutely zero emotion in his tone. He hoped this public rejection would finally cool down her obsessive brain and make her think straight for once. He wanted her to know they lived in different worlds. Even Zhao Qian was completely stunned.
She probably thought Jiang Zhe was biting the hand that fed him, but as for Su Ying, her reaction was wild. Her smile froze for a split second. Jiang Zhe felt a sudden spark of hope. She was mad. Perfect. If she thought he was an ungrateful jerk, their tutoring contract would be over.
But she laughed and walked right past him.
She approached the trembling Zhao Qian, gently patted her face, and told her she was absolutely right.
Su Ying whispered that some people just love being lapdogs, her touch incredibly soft.
Her voice was sweet, but it literally scared the soul right out of poor Zhao Qian.
Then, right in front of the entire crowd, Su Ying turned back around.
She naturally wrapped her arms around Jiang Zhe and rested her head right on his shoulder. Like actual lovers. But what could he do? She looked up at him, her eyes practically sparkling with starlight.
She told him she just loved her disobedient lapdog, then leaned in close to his ear.
In a low, smug whisper meant only for him, she called him a good teacher.
She said he was willing to reject her in public just to protect their little secret.
His tsundere act and the desperate way he tried to protect her was incredibly charming.
Honestly, she was totally obsessed with him. At that exact moment, Jiang Zhe's worldview completely shattered. Jaws hit the floor. It was pure chaos.
Jiang Qian looked like she had seen a literal ghost. Jiang Zhe just wanted to beg the heavens to strike him down with lightning. Talk about a public execution of a moment. Jiang Zhe became a campus legend. He was labeled as the toy boy of the richest heiress. A shameless gold digger and Su Ying's shiny new toy. All kinds of toxic labels were stuck to him like cheap glue.
Honestly, he did not care. No pride means no shame.
Nobody can morally kidnap you anyway. He just stuck to his daily routine. Moving between his dorm, the cafeteria, and Su Ying's villa, completely blocking out the noise. He focused entirely on tutoring. Su Ying actually seemed to love his silent endurance. To her, it was a beautiful sign. She genuinely believed that he was using silence to protect their fictional love story. Meanwhile, he was just waiting for the one day that would decide his fate, the college entrance exam. The days slowly dragged on in this agonizing, self-imposed isolation.
Finally, the big exam day arrived.
Jiang Zhe felt like an anxious father. Sending Su Ying off to her test, he gave her one final, desperate prep talk,
breaking down every single possible exam question into the simplest terms.
Spoon-feeding her the answers, he tells her not to panic when things get tough. Skip what is hard and do what you know. If you're stuck, pick the shortest answer. One long answer? Pick that. All different? Just guess B. Totally random? Go with D. And once an exam is over, completely forget it. Do not check answers. Su Ying just stares in complete silence.
Only then does she ask if this is truly the last time they will ever meet.
Her voice is barely a whisper, carrying a subtle tremble. It low-key tugs at his heart. But logic takes over. This is his final chance to escape the female boss. He must cut all ties. Stepping back, his face hardens into his usual icy stare. His job is officially over the exact moment the exam ends. He wishes Su Ying a bright future and tells her they will never meet again. He steals his heart, turns around, and walks away without looking back, terrified that one glance will make him hesitate. The next 48 hours are the longest of his life. He stays by his sick mother's bedside 24/7. No phone, no news. Like a prisoner waiting for a death sentence. Then the final bell of the college entrance exam rings, echoing down the hospital hallway. At that moment, the massive mountain crushing him is finally lifted. He is free. That night, Lao Wang transfers the remaining balance. A full 400,000 yuan, paying for the life-saving surgery. With her treatment secured, he stands at the end of the corridor, looking at the city lights, finally feeling hope. He decides he will take her far away to start fresh where nobody knows them. And start over. Su Ying, Lin Fan, and this cursed novel will finally be history. But just when you think he's safe, his phone rings. An unknown number.
He answers to hear the deep, commanding voice of her father, Su Zhenhua. "Hello, Chairman Su," he answers politely. His heart drops, but he forces himself to play it cool. The chairman says Su Ying did amazing, scoring top 10 in the country. Jiang Zhe played a massive role. To show his appreciation, he is hosting a private dinner tonight. He wants Jiang Zhe to join them. His commanding tone makes it impossible to say no, though he wants to run. Is this a trap? Probably. But the man did pay for his mother's life-saving surgery.
It looks like Jiang Zhe really can't skip this farewell dinner. Plus,
he wants to take this chance to tell Su Ying's dad that they are completely done. So he tells them he will be there and then hangs up. His reflection in the window is completely pale. He lets out a bitter laugh. He always thought chasing risky wealth was worth it. But honestly, sometimes that risk doesn't bring riches. It brings a death sentence. With the grim vibe of a man heading to his execution, he arrives at the mansion. But this time, the mansion looks totally different. No lights are on, and there are absolutely no guests. The entire place is wrapped in this incredibly creepy, dead silence. Only a few dim lights flicker as the butler greets him with that same lifeless face. He gets led inside, finding the massive living room completely empty. When Jiang Zhe asks about Chairman Su, the butler says the owner suddenly flew abroad. Bowing slightly, he says the lady is waiting. Talk about major bad vibes. Jiang Zhe's anxiety instantly spikes. Why leave the country right at this exact moment? This is literally a setup. He wants to run, but his legs feel like lead, completely frozen. Knowing there is absolutely no turning back now, he has no choice but to follow the butler. He walks toward the dining room, a literal tiger's den. Inside, the long dining table is packed with all sorts of fancy gourmet dishes. Right in the middle is a massive cake with only one person sitting at the head, Su Ying. She's wearing a pure white dress today, her long hair falling over her shoulders. Under the candlelight, she looks stunning. Honestly, she looks like a literal angel. Seeing him enter, she immediately stands up. A bright, almost overly joyful smile spreads across her face.
she welcomes him to their graduation party.
Then she pauses, adding that it's a private party for just the two of them.
He looks past her.
The butler silently shuts the dining room doors and the lock clicks shut. His heart drops straight into a bottomless abyss. Desperate for a way out, he asks where her parents are. Tilting her head, she just smiles innocently. They went to travel the world, leaving her this house, along with the entire company, all as a gift for her 18th birthday. She walks up, holding a beautifully wrapped gift. Stopping right in front of him, she says she prepared a special graduation present for him too. He refuses to take it. Instead, he just stares at her, every muscle in his body tense. Like a cornered beast ready to fight, he demands to know what she's actually planning.
His voice is incredibly raspy, but she acts like she didn't even hear him.
She just quietly opens the gift box, but there's no watch inside. No fancy suit and no bank card either. It is a set of keys and a property deed for this exact mansion. And guess what? The deed is registered under his name. She shoves the cold keys into his hand, waving the deed right in front of his face. Su Ying shows off this massive place, happily telling her it is officially their new home now. He promises she never has to worry about money again because he will support her forever. His voice sounds as sweet as a love poem, but to her ears, it is like a devil whispering directly to her. She violently slaps his hand away, sending keys and house deeds flying across the floor. She screams right in his face, "I have had enough!" She yells it straight to his face, "Su Ying, I have never, ever liked you." Being his tutor was only ever about the cash and nothing else. The contract is officially over. She got paid and she is done. She demands that he let her go, screaming out every single ounce of her hidden terror and anger. All that bottled up panic finally explodes, and she thinks this will break his delusion. But the guy just stands there in absolute silence, listening to her voice scream in desperation. That creepy, gentle smile on his face does not even fade after she is completely finished screaming. He just lets out a very soft sigh, looking at her with eyes filled with pure pity.
He literally asks if she is lying to him again, calling her a master of hiding her feelings. But he says it is fine and then slowly claps his hands.
The dining room doors swing open and two guys in black suits walk in. These completely emotionless bodyguards step inside and she instantly feels a freezing cold shiver run straight down her spine. Just like that, he steps closer to her, reaching out to gently caress her cheek with a crazy smile. His eyes are filled with pure obsession as he whispers that they are staying together.
He promises she will never leave him, and just like that, she gets locked up.
It is not some dark and damp basement, but actually Su Ying's massive, incredibly luxurious princess room. This place is filled with pink bubbles, complete with its own private and modern bathroom. Soft bed, huge room, get this, total luxury. She even has a cute balcony overlooking the entire garden, but here is the catch.
The balcony is fully welded shut with heavy alloy bars thicker than her arm, and all the windows use bank-grade bulletproof glass.
The main door is secured with a high-tech smart lock requiring passcodes and fingerprints. And of course, Su Ying is the only one who actually knows those codes. It is literally a gorgeous prison cell built with absolute luxury. Talk about a golden cage. She is officially his caged canary now, but she is ready to fight back. At first, she tries to rebel by going on a serious hunger strike, but he just brutally pinches her jaw wide open. He literally forces liquid food down her throat, mouth to mouth, making her swallow it bit by agonizingly slow bit. That absolute humiliation of tasting his breath is honestly way worse than any hunger pains she could ever feel. Next, she tries smashing things, breaking absolutely everything she can lay her hands on.
Everything is wrecked. But guess what happens the very next morning?
The butler simply delivers identical or even more expensive replacements to set every single thing back up again.
And Su Ying just hugs her tightly, whispering for his beloved teacher not to hurt herself.
So she switches tactics to the silent treatment, completely refusing to say a single word to him all day. But the guy does not even get mad, just sitting there quietly right beside her. He happily babbles on about funny stories from his office, or sometimes he just sits there silently staring at her. That suffocating loneliness combined with his constant, unblinking gaze is honestly way worse than any physical torture. It slowly breaks her spirit, and that is when she finally realizes. Fighting back physically is completely pointless because he actually enjoys this crazy process of breaking her. He literally loves the thrill of taming her, which makes her start reflecting. She starts wondering where exactly everything went wrong. Was it her taking this high-paying tutoring job in the first place? Or was her real mistake stopping that absolute psycho of a male lead at the cafe? Or maybe from the very first day our guy stepped into this massive villa, his dark fate was already completely sealed. Then, one night,
Su Ying clings to him like an absolute octopus while sleeping. Talk about terrifying Yandere energy.
with the sweet scent of Su Ying's hair and his warm, soft body right there in his arms, it is a lot to take in. Our MC shamefully realizes he's actually getting used to this, so he suddenly speaks up in the dark, calling out Su Ying's name with a raspy voice, and the guy is instantly awake. Su Ying sounds incredibly thrilled, especially since our main character has been locked up in this place. This is the first time he initiated calling his name, asking what he actually likes about him. This is the ultimate mystery because the teacher is broke and has a terrible temper. He has always treated Su Ying so coldly, so what is there to even fall for? In the pitch black, he can feel Su Ying snuggling even deeper into his chest, whispering with absolute satisfaction and a quiet peek into his soul that he loves everything about him. He says he loves when the teacher tutors him with a serious face, like math is the only thing that matters in the entire world. And how the teacher claims to hate him, but gets more panic than anyone whenever Su Ying accidentally gets burned. And how he drag-walked him out of that cafe like a boss, just so he wouldn't look at other guys. Plus, how our MC clearly cares deep down, but rejects all his expensive gifts just to pretend he does not. Talk about peak yandere behavior. Su Ying takes every single self-defense move and, using his twisted logic, interprets it as some clumsy but deep love. The teacher just finds this completely absurd. It is honestly almost hilarious. Like in Su Ying's head, the teacher is this incredibly devoted partner. Suddenly, Su Ying raises his head in the dark.
finding his lips perfectly in the pitch dark to kiss him softly, whispering that there is absolutely no need to pretend anymore.
Because in this place, his only job is to just love him. Okay, that is low-key terrifying. In that exact moment, a massive wave of pure terror hits the teacher. Along with this tiny, terrifyingly real sway, he realizes he successfully escaped the original novel plot. But he has completely failed to escape this twisted cage of love built specifically for him.
So he decides to stop fighting back, not because he's giving up, but as a strategy.
He realized that the more he fights, the more hyped Su Ying gets. That crazy Yandere logic of the more you resist, the more I love you is set in stone. It is completely unshakable. So, plan B? He might as well play along. Maybe if he acts totally obedient and stops being an exciting challenge to conquer, Su Ying will finally lose all interest in him. The teacher starts eating his meals regularly, voluntarily talking to him first, and even pouring him a fresh cup of water while Su Ying works. Is the strategy actually working? His sudden submission works like an absolute charm, and Su Ying is visibly becoming way happier day by day.
He finally stops watching his every move with that creepy, constant gaze and non-stop lectures.
Even letting him roam around the first floor completely freely, though the front door remains strictly off limits. Then one day, Su Ying actually skips work for the first time just to stay home with him. While the teacher is reading quietly on the sofa, Su Ying suddenly hugs him tightly from behind, resting his chin right on his shoulder, asking his teacher to take a look at something with him. Before the teacher can even react, a tablet is shoved right into his hands by Su Ying. The screen shows a highly encrypted folder, and Su Ying swiftly types in a long password like second nature. The password is the teacher's birthday, and once it unlocks, the folder is packed with endless videos and photos, so he clicks on the very first video. The footage is from the security camera outside the entrance. The timestamp shows the exact day he first came to tutor at this massive villa, wearing his old, completely faded t-shirt.
Carrying an old backpack, Jiang Zhe looks cold enough to freeze anyone who dares get too close.
And then, boom, the next photo and the one after that are all of him. Jiang Zhe lecturing at his desk, and him pulling her along at a cafe. Even clips of him eating lunch in the school cafeteria with a totally blank face. There's even footage of him walking her to an exam hall and turning to leave. That lonely back view that he thought felt like freedom, every single video was captured. It was all shot from crazy secret angles, giving him absolute goosebumps. How long has this girl actually been tracking his every move? This is wild. She points at the screen, showing Jiang Zhe coldly turning down some girl named Zhou Shishi. Her voice goes sweet as she gushes that he rejected the school beauty for her. She swipes to the next photo of Jiang Zhe reading in the library. He is frowning, and she immediately claims he must have been thinking about her. She thinks that is why he looked so troubled, but bro, she is delusional. He was actually stressing over his mom's medical bills, but she is living in her own world. She keeps showing him all this fake evidence, excitedly pointing out another clip. She plays an audio recording of Jiang Zhe talking to a housing agent named Wang. He says he is still short 400,000 yuan for his mom's surgery. Hearing his own desperate, hoarse voice on the recording, Jiang Zhe completely freezes. No shot she knew about this too, he thinks, as Su Ying turns off the clip. She steps right in front of him, kneeling down to look up into his face. Her eyes are pooling with tears, shining with a terrifying intensity. She begs Jiang Zhe to stop lying, claiming he never did any of this for money. She insists he knew she needed a tutor, so he purposely reached out to Wang to get him to give him this opportunity because he feared her dad would reject him, and that he just made up the excuse about his sick mom to cover it up. She gasps at how much he did in secret, convinced he was in love with her early on. So why did he try to run, she asks, leaving Jiang Zhe's brain completely short-circuited. Looking at her deeply moved face, he actually starts to doubt his own memory for once. Like, wait, is he actually a devoted male lead without even realizing it? No, ain't no way. He was literally just trying to survive. But her crazy yandere logic somehow makes perfect sense from start to finish. She connects every single plot point perfectly with one word: love. This is actual peak delusion. Jiang Zhe just stares at her, mouth open. He cannot even utter a single syllable because he suddenly realizes something.
Any explanation he tries to give in the face of her flawless, locked-in logic will only serve as more proof of how deeply he is hiding his love. So the days fly by in this twisted mix of sweet romance and absolute unarguable absurdity. Honestly, Jiang Zhe is almost getting used to living like a spoiled, kept pet. Su Ying treats him incredibly well, even remembering he hates cilantro. She knows he loves window seats, needs pitch darkness to sleep, and she even cooks for him. She spends hours learning his favorite meals, although at the start, she almost burned down her multi-million-dollar kitchen. But when he cannot sleep, she holds him. She softly hums the exact lullaby from his childhood. Truly, she gives him everything, except freedom. Sometimes, looking down at her peaceful face while she sleeps, he feels a strange warmth. A scary thought crosses his mind. If only that cursed novel did not exist. Honestly, without his initial fears, having such a gorgeous, smart girl at school, who, despite her quirky logic, is completely head over heels for him. Actively pursuing him? Our guy is definitely gonna fold here, let's be real. So Jiang Zhe starts to rethink his deep fear of her.
Is it actually her Yandere traits or just his fear of her doomed villain ending?
But right now, the plot has been totally derailed by his own actions into absolute chaos. She ignored the main lead and treated this random extra as her entire world. Will she still face that tragic villain ruin? Honestly, he has no clue anymore. But his frozen heart is finally starting to melt. That night, she comes home from the office looking absolutely exhausted. Lately, her company is facing major trouble from the original novel's assistant male lead. He is making his first big move, but she keeps it secret. Instead, she just hugs him like usual, burying her face for some warmth. She mutters that she is tired. He reaches out. He gently pats her back and tells her to get some sleep. This is low-key heartwarming, even if he is still technically kidnapped. The girl in his arms instantly freezes, and then his chest gets wet. She is crying and laughing at the same time, clinging to him like a koala. Gently nuzzling him, she whispers his name, Jiang Zhe. She keeps repeating his name, terrified that this might just be a beautiful dream. Afraid he will disappear if she lets go, and that night, things get wild. Next morning, his head is absolutely splitting. His body feels like it got run over by a truck, but Su Ying is sleeping peacefully. Flushed cheeks, sweet smile. He stiffly looks down at the bright red spot on the clean white sheets. No shot, he actually slept with this gorgeous female devil. In the original novel, he was just a background mob, but now that he slept with? The story's biggest yandere villain, can he still hope for a peaceful escape? While he is completely spiraling, she wakes up. Instantly, she cuddles into his chest like a kitten. Feeling her deep reliance on him and her almost obsessive satisfaction, his brain completely snaps. The final boss is literally his, so why even care anymore? Worst case, he dies, but at least he lived a little. So he takes a deep breath and wraps his arms around her. Addressing her as Su Ying, his voice sounds raspy. But he is resolute. Do not call me teacher anymore. Call me Jiang Zhe. He's totally giving in. After that fateful night, he completely throws all thoughts of escaping out the window. He happily accepts his new life as Su Ying's precious little caged bird. While she goes to the office to handle chaotic corporate battles, he stays home studying recipes, figuring out how to spoil her even more. Honestly, she absolutely loves this house-husband dynamic. Every single day, her first move is rushing into the kitchen to hug him. Snuggling up like a needy kitten, she asks what delicious food he made today. She says sweet and sour pork ribs are his absolute favorite, but ribs aren't her actual favorite. It's actually him. Honestly, she delivers these intense love lines without even blinking. And our boy went from freezing up completely to just acting totally normal about it. At this point, he just casually replies, "Got it, now let's eat." Let me tell you, Su Ying's business talent is way more cracked than the novel let on. With zero romance holding her back, she channeled every bit of her obsession straight into her career. Absolute boss energy. And the original male lead, Lin Fan, his basic rookie business tactics were literally child's play in front of her.
Within just a few months, this supposed rising star of the business world was totally cornered. Su Ying folded him so hard he had to pack up and take his female lead elsewhere. They literally fled the city. When Jiang Zhe heard this news, he was just chilling on the balcony watering his succulents when Su Ying hugged him from behind. She rested her chin on his shoulder, bragging like a proud little girl. That annoying Lin Fan guy? Yeah, he is never coming back to bother us again. Jiang Zhe just hummed, gently playing with the thick, chubby leaves of his plants. The overpowered male lead he used to fear had quietly exited his life without a sound. And here he is, a random side character basically stealing the spotlight and living the dream.
Honestly, he's living way better than the original protagonist ever could. Life is wild.
Then came his 22nd birthday, and he low-key thought Su Ying had completely forgotten about it. She was busy at the office all day, so he just made a simple bowl of noodles. But just as he was about to eat, the front door swung wide open. Su Ying was back, carrying a massive birthday cake in her hands. And get this, right behind her, two movers were literally lugging in a grand piano.
Happy birthday, Jiang Zhe! She placed the cake down, her eyes completely lighting up.
She looked at him with pure excitement, presenting this massive birthday gift. It turns out she remembered his childhood dream of becoming a professional pianist. Hearing that hit him right in the feels. It was just an offhand comment from long ago. He never expected she would actually remember something so incredibly minor. That night, she didn't let him touch her. Instead, she slipped into a white dress. She sat at the piano playing Fur Elise. It was pretty clumsy and full of mistakes. And yet, listening to her play actually made his eyes water up. Afterward, she walked over and pulled out a document from behind her back. Along with a bright red marriage certificate, she stuffed the papers right into his hands. Looking incredibly nervous, she said their current contract was up. Then she asked if he was down for a permanent lifetime deal. He looked down. Right there was a pre-signed marriage certificate. He stared at her for a long time. Then he just smiled and pulled her right into his arms. He leaned down and kissed her. "Okay," he whispered. "Miss Su, please guide me for the rest of our lives. After all, her lifetime is his reward." And our boy Jiang Zhe is a highly professional teacher who delivers on his contracts.